Attention! We do accept super chats and memberships, and all money goes back directly into the channel to allow for more giveaway, prizes, and perks for our viewers and listeners. The cost of running shows like this can be expensive and timely, but we do it for you. If you can help support the channel, we greatly appreciate it. But if you can't, all we ask is that you use your social media to share and support that way. We love you and thank you in advance. But we'd also like to thank our channel members. We have Saggy Melons, Benson's, Resident Justice, Prakash Swain, DC Talk with Extended, That One Carlos, Caden Reed, Nick Carr, John Rodell, Justin Hines, Billy Robert, Adam Silvestri, Kinky Sphincter, Sean Adame, Nick DePalma, and Roblox Marvel Ultimate. And remember, folks, be respectful. Captain Kirk is going into space. Captain Kirk is going into space. I mean, how freaking crazy is that? Well, we have a lot to talk to you today about. Dave Chappelle is in a lot, and I mean a lot of trouble for what he has said. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But first, we are talking the Scream trailer. I am very excited about that. And last but not least, yesterday was National Coming Out of the Closet Day, and Superman is gay. Is this the right move? Is this about inclusion, or is it about scoring points? We don't know. But I'll tell you this. Kryptonite is no longer the only thing that brings Superman to his knees. Welcome to Jivin with Jack. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and genders all across the spectrum. And special congratulations to anyone who came out yesterday during National Coming Out Day. You are welcome here at Pop Culture Corner. My name is Jack, and boy, like the guy in the mask said before, who is not me, we have a lot to talk to you today about. So we're going to start off with Scream. That wasn't the plan, but I am a Scream fanatic. And normally, I would have the man with $1 million voice join me, but he's indisposed, and he will be joining us later. So I will have a man with a voice join me, Mr. Caden Reed.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, what's going on? You just told me that you think Ty didn't tweet out the show, and I think that's what happened. No one knows.
No one knows. It's just
no one knows we're live.
And I added the Twitter stream to it, so maybe that will.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But you know what? I once told Ty, I said, because when we first started doing these shows, we were like, we got to do what people want to hear, which of course you got to do. But like, we should fix the topics. So I said, we should just do the show and have fun. Because before we were monetized, we just did whatever we wanted to. We were talking about everything, Bennifer, Cider Cut.
Right.
And let's just have fun with it. So how was your weekend?
It was fun. It was, this weekend was fun. It was, that we saw the fight on Saturday. And that fight was pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Both of them were really good. Well, respect to both of them. Fury and it's it's good to see them like say, hey, no hate towards anyone. It's just a fight. That's how it should be. You should just fight for fun.
I know a lot. Remember when I'm texting Ty to tweet the show out? Ty, Can you tweet the show, please? This is why I wanted to give the social media to you or or Austin. We're like, maybe someone else should have it too. But when they had Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, some of those things they did where they just kind of cursed each other out, and it was entertaining one time, but they kept doing it again and again, and I thought it was very.
And then for McGregor, it kind of got racially motivated, and for Mayweather, it also got racially motivated, and it's just like it got to an extent where it was like it wasn't fun and games anymore. It was like it got to the point where it was like he was like one of them was accusing the other person of doing something or threatening the other person to do something. It was just like it got out of hand with McGregor and Mayweather.
And then some of the stuff almost kind of got racial a little bit.
Yeah.
I know McGregor didn't mean it that way, but like.
Right. It was just it was like it was getting out of hand. It was to the point where it was like, you guys should just stop. Just stop while you're at it, because one might say something and might regret saying it, and then once you guys get in the ring, that person's really angry that you said that, and will really knock you out.
Exactly.
And you won't see the next day if you say something wrong.
Exactly.
And it's like, or they might see you on the street and handle it on the street. So it's like, there's a level and there's a line to smack talk with these. I guess the notifications didn't work.
Yeah, I guess that's weird.
That's weird.
I'm not saying Ty's trying to sabotage my show. Look,
Ty's sabotage.
I'm not biased, but I know that Jivin with Jack is the best show, and Lean on Me is like right there. I'm like right there. If this is Jivin with Jack, this is Lean on Me. It's right there, and then there's everything else. I'm just joking, folks. Check out, if you missed it, we interviewed Richard Citroni. Definitely check that out. If you missed last night's Lean on Me, Austin's new show, definitely check it out. But not right now. Not right now.
After.
So we'll find out from Ty why the notifications didn't work. Because Marlon, you're the only person watching right now, and it makes zero sense.
Oh,
usually we'll have a couple of people.
They worked this time, but they didn't work last time.
Oh, they worked this time. So wait, now that they're working, no one's watching.
They're like, they're bugging me with these notifications to watch Jivin with Jack.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone's like, no, we're not watching today. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But
Katsuka, finally.
Katsuka. Wow.
Did you miss my opening with the mask?
Did Ty on the show?
So, Caden, you told me that you're a Scream fan, like you like the first two, and ironically or coincidentally, those are the two I love. Scream 3, it's okay. Scream 4, whatever. Let me ask Marlon. Austin will be joining us a little bit later. Keep me in your thoughts. He's had a bit of a family emergency, so he's dealing with that. He should be here, but if he's not, we'll probably see him on Thursday. But I did a cold open with the Scream mask. Maybe I'll put it on. But we are going to watch the trailer. We're going to talk about it. But Caden, you like the first two. I love the first two. I actually think Scream 2 is one of the sequels that might be as good or maybe better. But I mean, the first two movies are great.
Yeah.
Oh, Katsuka, I'm a huge Scream fan. Huge. The biggest fan. There's no fan.
The biggest fan in the world.
No one watches Scream like I do. And actually, in our group chat, I sent you a picture. I actually put the Scream mask on, went downstairs with my sister's Kathleen. I'm like, we got to watch this trailer. She's like, what is it? I didn't even tell her. I just cast it and it just started playing. And she's like, a new Scream movie. I'm excited.
Yeah, I like this trailer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like yesterday, when the poster, was it yesterday or was it Sunday?
I remember you posted. It was something like this. You tweeted it.
Yeah, that was Sunday. Yeah. That was Sunday, and I was like, and it was like the poster said it's maybe someone you know, and got my running. I was like, oh, it has to be this person, and this trailer kind of confirmed it a little bit more that it's this person.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the trailer they say someone from the past.
Yeah. And I'm like, everyone always asks like, why does this person always have the mask on? and never have it off when he's killing someone or they're killing someone or whenever they're just spooking around,
Yeah.
And this might be the reason why.
Welcome, Justin Hines. Kasuka, real quick, I don't think that'd be a good idea because if Marvel did a Scream movie, first off, Scream wouldn't kill anyone, and then like he'd be making jokes, and there'd be no blood or gore, and at the end, Scream would become a good guy. Hashtag Loki.
Right. Or he'll be like, oh, it wasn't Scream. The ghost face isn't really killing people. He's sending them back to their homes in the multiverse or whatever.
Yes, or whatever. What? And then he says something really terrible like, I don't kill people I hate. I save the ones I love. Or whatever that terrible line was from The Last Jedi, which Austin thinks is a good movie. I'm like, whatever.
It's a good movie. It's a bad Star Wars movie.
That's a good one. That's how I feel about new Star Trek. Like the newer Star Trek shows, they're good sci-fi. They're bad Star Trek because they don't feel like Star Trek. But anyway, so Justin is here. It was a joke in reference to that Creed song from the third movie. Yeah, Creed. That was really 90s. Back in the day, if you bought like Scream or Scream 2 on VHS, they would have like the music video for Creed, like buy the soundtrack with arms wide open, and like they were really hip for like 2 years, and their music was always in all those movies.
So, they did like an Airbnb special. So like in California, where the actual Scream house is, they're renting out for Halloween.
Yeah.
And so I think it's
both wrong. Look who it
is. He comes in the comment. He's like, "You're both wrong." Well, if I'm wrong too, that means Last Jedi isn't a good movie, but is a good Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you said it's a good movie, but a bad Star Wars movie. So if you're wrong, it's a bad movie, but a good Star Wars movie.
Okay. But
No, Austin, we're gonna talk about Scream. We don't want you here. Hey, Jack and Caden, what's your favorite scary movie? Ooh.
Like I was telling Jack earlier, it's the three franchises I really like in the slasher horror stuff is Scream, Halloween, and Scary Movie.
Well, now that they mentioned it, what is my favorite scary movie? And my favorite scary movie, I'm not saying it's the movie that scares the hell out of me the most, but I think it's incredibly well made. Let's see if we can get over here. There you go.
Yeah, Halloween.
Right there.
Halloween
I love that movie.
I think I like what they're doing with this slasher genre today. It reviving it with Halloween 2018 and now Scream. It's I can see them
all
doing
we're missing is what we're doing is missing Jason, and that's because New Line and Paramount are in some kind of weird like thing because they rebooted Friday 13th about 11 years ago and made a lot of money.
They did.
It was okay. It was amazing, but it was fun. It was just basically naked teenagers and Jason killing them. What else do you want? Okay. Leonardo Woke says, "Don't worry, Austin. I'll take good care of Jack. You keep your hands away." Oh my
God.
Damn.
Leonardo is one dude you have to watch out for because he will.
I was the one who said I want all the deplorables, the creepy fans, the toxic fan base to come and join. So you get what you asked for. So Leonardo, welcome.
He's the one that started the whole conversation about nipples and stuff on Lean On Me.
Oh, okay.
Because he told Paul to take off his shirt, and then Austin almost took off his shirt, and then everyone saw Austin's nipple piercing.
Oh.
And then that's when people were
going. That kind of kinky stuff is supposed to happen on my show, damn it. Austin's taking my ideas. He's doing all the sex stuff there. I want to go here. That's what became JivinWithJack. You get your neutered stuff with the rest of the shows, the PG family MCU stuff, and then you get to my show. And we're like Batman vs. Superman and Ultimate Edition. We have violence and partial nudity. So.
Right.
Hello, Sydney. Top of the morning to you. Where's Ben?
Top of the morning. You want some tea?
What's your favorite Shakespeare play?
I'm British.
Yeah. Is it Benson English or is it Benson? I guess I don't know. I guess people got the notifications are coming your way. But let me give you my sort of thing. Scream came out when I was really, really young. The coffee's downstairs on the table. Yeah, thanks. My dad is so good. He's such a good man. And I got to tell you, what's brilliant about this movie is that, you and I were talking about this earlier, this is a satire of horror movies. A lot of people don't get that because when they think satire, they think satire means comedy because they think Saturday Night Live or they think, the scary movies. But if you go back to the ancient Greeks, when they wrote satires, they would write a play about something, but it's really about something else. To give you a good example, if you ever read Hamlet, you know how Hamlet changes the play to kind of reflect what happened with his father.
Yeah.
So he's watching. That's an example of satire.
Satire, yeah.
And a lot of people forget that. This movie literally tells you these are the rules for scary movies and then goes ahead and does them. It's like, oh, yeah, this is what happens. And one of my favorite scenes is in the first Scream, Neve Campbell gets a call, and they're like, what's your favorite scary movie? She's like, I don't watch scary movies. It's always about some dumb, big-breasted girl who runs upstairs when she should be going out the front door. And what happens? Like 3 seconds later, she tries to go out the front door and runs upstairs. I'm like, brilliant.
It happens to her.
Yeah.
in the very beginning of the movie, it happens to, and then and that's what it's just like, oh snap, like these, and it's like again, it shows you, that people are dumb in horror movies.
Oh yeah.
People are stupid.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know the story about this? So when this movie came out, she was arguably the biggest star in the movie. Neve Campbell was up and coming. Skeet Ulrich was a nobody. The guy who plays Stu, I forgot. Matthew Lillard was a nobody.
He was.
Courtney Cox had just become popular because she was in like the first or second season of Friends.
Yeah.
They put Drew Barrymore on the cover of the movie poster. The idea was to make you think she's a main character. Everyone knows who Drew Barrymore is. And what happens to her?
She dies in the first 15 minutes.
Boom. I mean, that's perfect. And you're like, whoa,
it's a perfect opening. It's a perfect opening because it's perfect marketing too. It's like you have, again, I was talking to my friend about this too. It was like, you have a big star like Drew Barrymore or someone that's big in a certain age group. And you take them and you put them in the beginning of the movie and have them be killed off.
Yep.
Then you already have them looped into the movie.
It's really effective. A lot of times
and it shows that in the trailer too with Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega is big in her age group and big, she's...
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her. And you see in the trailer where she is the first victim of the movie.
Yeah.
She gets killed off in the first
By the way,
15
this thing,
minutes.
what she's doing right here, this is
it's the same. Yep.
Yeah. Because they asked Drew Barrymore what's your favorite movie. She says Halloween, and she takes out a kitchen knife and puts it back.
Right. And for this one, it shows that, it's someone hacks into her home system.
Yeah, that was clever.
Yeah, that was clever. It was a good modernization of that scene.
Yeah. Real quick, I kind of answered mine, but I want to hear yours. All right, which one's your favorite in the trilogy? Or now it's a quadrilogy. There's technically 4. For me, it's 2. If I had to pick one between the first and second, I got to go with 2.
I would have to. Yeah, it's a tricky one between 1 and 2. Like I was saying earlier with Jack, I was like, I watched the first 2 recently, but I watched all 4 before. But 3 and 4, they're good to additions to the franchise. It's just that 1 and 2 are so good that they're just they're right
It's kind of funny. Marlon mentioned, kind of sucked. I know what you did last summer, didn't take off like Scream. I know. So the guy who wrote Scream 1, Scream 2, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Halloween H2O, which are like the 4, and he also did The Faculty, which is another. Those 5 movies were all by Kevin Williamson. In fact, I think we have a picture of him. Kevin Williamson, I think, created Dawson's Creek.
Maybe. I think so.
I think I forgot to upload the photo, but Kevin Williamson, he just tapped in to like teenagers in the 90s. Like he just did it in a really cool way.
I think
I have a picture of him.
In
fact,
it was writers like him that understood teenagers during that time.
Yeah. But that's him. He just tapped into it so well. And again, The Faculty is another good one. If you haven't seen The Faculty, directed by Robert Rodriguez, he just wrote from like 96 to like 2000, like just great teen movies, great teen horror. He nailed the dialogue. It was around the same time guys like Joss Whedon were coming up, where like they would just do this kind of like pop culture stuff, like Scream, like Buffy. You have a lot of pop culture references. They make references to what's going on, which is common now. Like everyone does it, but at that time they kind of did it. So Kasuga, do you know what the original plan for Scream 3 was?
3 was to have him come back.
Yeah,
and
it
you
was
know that this movie is supposed to be a remembrance and what's the reference to older plans and stuff. So and to Wes Craven. So you know.
By the way, I gotta tell you how much of a Scream fan I am. When I first got on Twitter, you know the part where this is Scream 2 where he reveals the killer. He's like, Billy's mother. Nice twist. Bet you didn't see it coming. My Twitter handle when I first started on Twitter like years ago was Billy's mother.
Right. Wow.
And it was for him.
Yeah. And like, yeah, it's when we it's we all.
That's true. He's in Scream 2.
Like I was, yeah. He's actually in every movie.
Oh,
as
really?
Like as in the background as a cameo. He's like in Scream 3 as a kid at a party, and Scream 4 as a bartender. And then
what
Scream
if
2.
they changed that? What if they say that it actually was Stu the whole time?
That would be crazy if they they're like, oh, and like they reshot the scenes and they had him actually in like prosthetics to like look all like messed up.
Okay. But you never know.
You never know. That'd be cool. But
let's real quick watch the trailer. I think we should be fine. Number one, it's Paramount. There's no
Paramount is fine with stuff like that usually.
Scream trailer. I'm trying to find the one that Paramount put out just because you don't get like an ad at the beginning.
Right.
Paramount Australia. Okay. I'll pull it up. So yeah, let's watch the trailer. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. I got to make sure I share the system audio. And then what I'm going to do, folks, real quick, is I'm going to put my headphones in so I don't, so it doesn't get back feedback or whatever. All right. All righty, Roo. Caden, say something real quick.
Hello.
There we go. All right. There we go. You guys ready? If there's a problem with the audio, let me know. We're going to watch the Scream 4 trailer or Scream 5 trailer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Again, it'll play with the trope stuff that they do well with.
All right, I turned it off. I wish you got a season 4. Actually, same. I agree. I think it would be kind of cool, like an anthology. Every season, different story.
Yeah. I think by now they would have been on season 6 if they did.
Yeah, if they kept going it. You could always do a thing where like you don't reveal who So season 2. I think it was season 2 where they revealed the killer, and there was actually a third killer, and they never actually told us who that was with season 2 because they ended up rebooting the show a little bit. But I'm really enjoying that. Whew. So Austin said he was going to be here. He's not. I'm just loving the Scream talk. The horror in Scream 3 was Courtney Cox's hair. I do not know what they were going for.
Yeah. And it was Scream 3 wasn't the best thing for Courtney.
No. But do you remember in Scream 3 where randomly they're like on the lot and Jane saw Bob walk by?
Yes.
I was like, what the hell? I thought it was funny because in Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, Wes Craven's making a new Scream with Shannon Doherty, and the killer turns out to be a monkey or something. He's like, "Oh, Wes, you're not even trying anymore."
Right. Someone just tweeted out saying, "Oh, Matthew Lillard as Cletus Cassidy would have been perfect if he uses, his Scream 1 attributes, where he's like this creepy, dude, but also like this creepy, goofy killer."
Yeah. Good old Miramax. Yeah, Miramax, and then I think Dimension got Scream 2, and now it's owned by Paramount. By the way, in Scream 4, I loved the character. Her name was Kirby Reed on the left. She was great in Scream 2. I used to have a huge crush on her when I was younger.
What's the actress's name again?
Hayden Panettiere.
Yes.
I had a huge crush on her when I was younger, and she was just great in that movie. But after Scream 4, believe it or not, I just never bought that movie.
And then you have the girl on the right who was in that show.
Well, that's Eric Roberts' daughter, Julia Roberts' niece. She was in Scream
Emma
Queens.
Roberts.
Yeah, Emma Roberts.
Queens.
Yeah.
Scream Queens,
which I didn't watch, but I heard that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Is Kirby still alive? I thought she got killed.
I thought she got killed too.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Scream 4 is not going to connect too much to this movie because this one didn't do too well.
It'll be a loose canon one.
Yeah, it'll still be canon, but like they're not going to like refer to.
They're not going to reference every single little bit of the movie. They're going to be like more Scream 3 and 2 and 1 references.
Yeah, definitely 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, because again, it's about the past coming back. Yeah, and it's.
I was at the gym earlier today, and they had Jerry O'Connell on, I think it was some talk show, and he was talking about like, the new Scream trailer dropped, and he was like, I was actually I was in Scream 2. His character was really well done because like Jerry O'Connell's character was like, I think he might be a bad guy, and then it's like, no, it's not, and I'm saying Scream 2 is very underrated as a film. Look at that, we have someone joining us. Look who's here.
As we were like,
you guys are still talking about Scream.
Yeah, we're waiting for you, man. We're big Scream fans. As soon as Caden told me he loves Scream, I'm like, and Austin's like, I'm going to be disposed. I'm like, we're going full Scream. Do we even have the lowest viewership today? I'm like, good. We're talking about Scream, and that is all we're talking about.
Right.
Really? Yeah. Well, then I'll see you guys later. Good.
No. We got to talk about Dave Chappelle. We got to move on to other topics. This is our job.
I'm kidding.
But,
no.
Are they all right?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. We're back home, and everything's good. And, chilling and relaxing. But I gotta say, I saw that Scream trailer. Didn't care. Thought it was kind of stupid, actually.
Really? Are you a fan of the films?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what it is.
I mean, I watched that, and I was like, was this supposed to get me to see the movie? And I don't know. It just there was no like. Is this supposed to be scary? Because there's no suspense or horror or anything that.
It's like we're saying, it's like a satire.
It's a satire of horror within a horror. It's a satire.
Movie. It's with like.
So it's supposed to be funny.
I thought no. We already went through this. Satire does not mean comedy, Austin. Satire does not mean.
Pretty much means comedy.
No.
Satirical comedy. That's the satirical
comedy is different. A satire does not have to be a comedy. Go search.
It's not a comedy, and it's a satire in Greek.
Maybe it's not a comedy on purpose.
Richard III is a bit of a satire.
What's up?
The play that Hamlet writes, and Hamlet is a satire.
Yeah, because it's basically
satire is a parody of something and over exaggerating those things.
Exaggerating and basally trying to correct.
What's the definition of a parody?
A parody doesn't always have to be a comedy too.
A parody I would say would be more often has a mocking tone to it. So I'll tell you right now, because we had a whole class on this, and they were like, satire is not always comedy. I'm like, what? And we went through all the Greek satires.
I'm not saying that it's always comedy. You're right. It's not always comedy. But I think for the most part, satire is comical, whether intentional or not. And so
that's how it's kind of seen today, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you're not a fan, okay, good.
I just came to rain on your parade.
That's what I'm here to do. Yeah, Austin.
Austin,
you know what? People are talking about Scream these days. They're not talking about The Last Jedi anymore. They're already on The Mandalorian.
People are still talking about The Last Jedi, man. I go into panels still to this day defending that bad boy. My dying
Courtney
breath.
Cox's hair is the Last Jedi of the Scream movies.
Oh my god. Yeah, I did see Courtney Cox is in there, and I was like, why?
Scream has a lot of comedy in it too.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was watching this trailer, and I was like,
have you ever seen the first couple?
No. I saw a scary movie. I saw a scary movie, and
I don't appreciate this because exactly. So we went through this, but what's brilliant about the first Scream is they lay out all the tropes of horror movies. In Scream 2, they lay out the tropes of sequels, and then they do the exact thing. The idea was that it's like life imitating art, which is an actual quote from the movie "Life Imitating Art, Imitating Life."
But yeah, no, I think they're really smart movies. I would say that I'm not really. You know what did scare the crap out of me in Scream 2 when Dewey and Gale are trapped in the theater and and there's no sound and he's like going back and forth. That was actually really tense and inducing.
That was an intense scene.
Because at that point you're like, one of these two is gonna bite the dust. Because you figure, okay, you know, Nev Campbell's gonna
like
that, and then Scream 2 when they're in the cop car and they're trapped in the back and the killer's knocked out in the front seat. You're like, oh boy, and you gotta.
There's a couple of jump scares and obviously in all throughout all of the films.
Yeah,
I think the first two has a really good sense of jump scares.
I don't see a jump scare being in those films.
Oh,
and I'm a scaredy cat.
Oh, dude, rewatch the original Scream. There's a scene where Nev Campbell comes back from home and you hear she opens a closet and the music goes, and she closed the closet. I'm like, why the hell did the music go up there? Because like 10 minutes later, that's where the killer was hiding. Because the killer was in the house the entire time. You have to kind of pick that up on a rewatch because the doors are locked. She never lets anyone in. So the killer was inside the house when she got back from school. And there's a bit of an omen with the musical cue that the killer is actually hiding in there. She just didn't know it.
Look,
and then boom, he pops out.
Kind of.
And then he kills Buffy in Scream 2. You're like, no, he can't kill Buffy. And he killed her.
These movies kind of feel like, you know, the Friday the 13th and the Halloween.
Oh, no, I think they're way better.
Now, Halloween, I'm seeing Halloween Kills tonight. I'm super excited.
Oh, I'm seeing it Saturday. I'm seeing
it early with William and Bradley tonight. Shout out William from the Sci-Fi Center. Thank you. But I mean, those movies I'm interested in, and they're scary.
How about
and they're but hold on.
Why don't we transition into Halloween?
Well, hold on. I'm not done with Scream. I'm not done bashing.
Okay.
He's not done bashing something he hasn't seen.
Listen. These Scream movies. Okay, you know those horror movies where all the characters make the worst decisions. These Scream movies feel
every
like
single horror movie.
Exactly, yeah. But this feels like over exaggerated to the point of, like you said, yeah. I don't want to see that. Why would you want to see that?
Because it's good writing and the dialogue, at least in the first two movies, well-written dialogue, because Kevin Williamson was a good writer. And what did Kevin Williamson make? Did he make American Horror Story? He made something that's a really big show. Hold on, let me look it up, because I know he did like Dawson's Creek back in the day. But there's a show he's on right now that he's doing right now.
He was doing Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries, that was it. Yeah, apparently, again, I've seen the first season. I know the people love that, and even the spinoff. I haven't finished watching it, but the love romance stuff is more believable than the DC shows. I don't know why, but you know what? I don't mind talking a little bit about Halloween because we just asked what's my favorite horror movie, and I said the original Halloween. We are now in our third timeline of Halloween. There are 3 alternate timelines. You got Halloween, Halloween 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
Then you have Halloween 1, 2, H2O, and Resurrection. Every 20 years, Jamie Lee Curtis needs some money, and she comes back to do Halloween. So he's like, let's do another one. So now it's Halloween H4O, which we call it as fans, Halloween 2018. But what's kind of cool about this is they brought a lot of cast members from the first. So this is Kyle Richards.
Yep. Yeah.
She's part of the Hilton Empire. And for those of you who are wondering, she's that lady in the cat meme right there, the one with the darker hair.
Yep.
That girl was the little girl that Jamie Lee Curtis was babysitting in there. Charles Cyphers, who played the sheriff in the original film, he's back. Which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Not only that, so in one of the bad Halloween sequels, Halloween 6, which it's really bad, but I still love it. So you know the little girl, she's babysat with a boy named Tommy Doyle. Like little boy Doyle. So in that sequel, a young actor in his first movie role was Paul Rudd.
Right.
So they tried to get Paul Rudd to come back for this movie, but he was filming something else, so they cast Anthony Michael Hall. He's going to be that kid growing up. So there's a lot of cameos coming up in this movie. The nurse, remember the nurse when Michael Myers escapes in the first Halloween? She's trapped in the car. She's going to be back. I saw her in the trailers. They said there's there's going to be a lot of nods to the people who were alive during that movie. And apparently they're in flashbacks, I think, because they have someone who's going to play Dr. Loomis or looks like Dr. Loomis. They might do a Rogue One kind of like CGI.
Right.
Yeah, because he's dead, so they're probably going to have someone else there, and they're going to do that. But I'm excited for Halloween Kills. I've heard it's not as good as the last one. I don't care, because when it comes to horror movies, my bar is different. Like, I like like my favorite Friday the 13th
movies,
part 6.
I think horror movies and slasher films, we shouldn't really care about the reviews.
Exactly.
Because
it's still got positive reviews, but like it's just like, oh, it's not as good as the,
Look, I'm excited with the Halloween movies, especially with the last one I just learned. Look, they're not scary. I'm just looking forward to some good kills and this badass unkillable machine just ripping through town, and it seems like this is going to elevate that idea, expand on that idea, and I have no issue with that whatsoever.
Oh, by the way, do you know, like, you've seen the trailer where he, like, the firefighters arrive? Hey, Prakash, how are you doing?
He's like smashing in their heads.
Kill the firefighters. Do you know there's actually a petition going around to remove that scene from the movie because people are saying it encourages violence against firefighters? I'm like,
oh my
god.
No.
Oh, yeah, huge. I got my poster right here. It's Halloween is, I think, the movie that I own the most copies of, and I'm gonna get a 6th copy of it this weekend when I buy the 4K. I have it, the original VHS, the original DVD. Then there was a 2-disc version which had the television version. Then I bought the Blu-ray. Then I have the box set, the 15-disc collect, which has the 5th copy of the movie. And then I'm going to buy the 4K, which already came out. Then it was out of stock, and Amazon's restocking it now. I'm going to buy the 4K, which comes with a digital, so technically it'll be 7. But it's like one of those franchises I support. I'm like, yep, I love that first movie. I got my mask. We're doing a big shindig at the German club in 2 weeks. I'm going to put the Michael Myers mask on. I got my jumpsuit, my little mechanic's suit, whatever it is. But an interesting fact, so they had a stuntman play Michael Myers, but for certain scenes, they had the guy who played Michael Myers in the original film, who's the director now, Nick Castle, who was John Carpenter's roommate. And he's like, I like the way you walk. Could you play this killer? And he's like, yeah, okay. He went on to direct like Major Payne, Dennis the Menace, The Last Starfighter. But they actually had him come back to do it. Now, obviously, he's in his 70s now, so they asked him to do a little bit of, some stuff for the movie, which is kind of cool. The breathing is his. But, Jamie Lee Curtis, VHS, yeah. So I got it on VHS when like that was kind of like on its last legs. DVD was out, but I didn't have a DVD player. And I think the original Halloween had like a really cool holographic cover. It was on sale for like $11.99.
Kyle Richards broke her nose during making Halloween Kills?
Really?
Yeah.
I saw there was something about her doing a stunt that went wrong or something, and she's like, she didn't want the stunt person to do it. She wanted to do it herself.
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills personality.
Yeah, there we go. That's her right there.
Oh my gosh. Jon Kent again for the new sequel. I didn't know it was broken when it happened. I just know I hurt myself. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want the stunt double to step in and have them be like, oh, Kyle, let the stunt double handle this. That's when actors are dumb, by the way.
Yeah.
To ease her pain, Richards popped some Advil that an assistant director gave her and got back to her craft. However, it wasn't until she returned home to Los Angeles that she felt something wasn't right. As I got back to LA, I was like, what's going on? Then my makeup artist in LA said, you have a bone poking out of your nose. Wow, that's also fun. I was working with the stunt director to do a fight scene with Michael Myers. And let's just say while I was rehearsing, something flew back and hit me in the face. And I knew immediately something was wrong.
Oh, my.
That's badass.
That's just dumb.
She's not just pretty. She's badass. Look at her.
Oh, God. Right.
Yep, that's the girl. That's her on the meme right there. For all of you who've seen that meme a million times, that's the little girl from Halloween. But yeah, she's part of the Hilton Empire. She's Paris Hilton's aunt.
Right.
Very wealthy lady before she ever got into film. It's also interesting. So this girl is a Real Housewife, and one of the other Real Housewives was in John Carpenter's other movie. You ever seen what's called Assault on Precinct 13?
No.
They remade it recently, but there's a little girl in that who gets killed. And that little girl also is one of the Desperate Housewives or Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like they both John Carpenter alums. But I'm excited to see Halloween Kills. I'm really excited. I'm seeing it Saturday night. I got my ticket. I want to wear my mask, but I know they don't allow that. But I'll be like, hey, you want me to cover my face?
Dear God, no. You don't get to. No, Jack.
Yeah, why not? Why not? This is only covering this much. This is covering everything.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
That's the one thing I can't wait for is that music. That score is just I can't wait. I can't wait.
I used to listen to that soundtrack. I bought the 20th anniversary CD from like they used to have a place called The Wall back in the day. We used to sell CDs, and I bought the 20th anniversary, and it had like clips from the movie too. And I would just listen to it on my Walkman. I'm like, yeah, like a dumbass. Like the one with Ethan Hawke. So the Ethan Hawke one is a remake of the John Carpenter film, and the same idea is like this small police precinct is closing, and a bunch of gang members just assault it. It's pre-internet, pre-everything. So like they just cut the phone lines. It's a couple of cops and some bad guys. They're like, all right, bad guys, get some guns. And no one's reporting it because the neighborhood is like affiliated with the gang. So just wear it and say you have a skin condition. Yeah, I think they have rules about masks now ever since that incident with the Dark Knight Rises. Because I wore my Scream mask for Scream 4. And then when the Dark Knight Rises happened, they had rules about like, masks like that. I might just take it with me.
Yeah.
Just wear it and say you have a skin condition. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Like I'm being a white man for Halloween.
Speaking of Ethan Hawke, he has a film with Scott Derrickson called Black Phone. That looks pretty cool.
Scott Derrickson. He made Doctor Strange?
He did Doctor Strange and Sinister.
Yep.
Oh. So what's this new movie called?
Black Phone.
With Ethan Hawke, yep.
Yeah, it's basically Ethan Hawke plays this children's party entertainment person who's also like a kidnapper and a kid killer.
It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.8 on IMDb. Damn.
Yeah.
It's coming out in February?
No. It's coming out in February, but they had screenings this weekend for it. It's basically these kid gets kidnapped by Ethan Hawke's character and is put in the basement, and there's like this black phone that keeps ringing, it's the previous victims telling the kid how to escape. And,
don't give the whole movie away, Caden. Jesus.
No, that's the plot. That's the plot. But and he's like, and he looks. If you look it up on who Ethan Hawke is,
could we watch the trailer for that, or is there like? Do you remember?
There's no trailer for it. There's no trailer yet for it.
Oh,
I'm sure it'll come out. I'm sure it'll come out around next week or next month.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, guys. You keep talking.
Yeah. And Ethan Hawke seems he's the only major star. He's the only major.
He's
person he's the lead. So I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested. Scott Derrickson makes some good movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's a kind of an interesting plot, but
yeah,
I'm interested. We were just talking. Was I talking with somebody yesterday because I started Game of Thrones, and somebody was saying that they stopped watching Game of Thrones after a certain point because it just was it was just too brutal. Some of the things that were going on, and
there's some weird.
I don't know. Some of these movies and some of these plots and some of these storylines, like even we talked a little bit last night, was
right.
God, what's the name of that film? The Devil All the Time, which came out I think last year. That's like it's a hard watch. It's a brutal movie.
God.
It's really it's pretty twisted, and I actually know some people that like did not finish it. Stopped it halfway through, and which understandably,
I pushed myself to watch the whole thing. I was like,
yeah, it was a pretty, and it's weird to like then talk about a review a movie like that because yes, it's a very well done, well made movie. It's the story is
dark.
It's just very graphic and very it's not you talk about there are movies movies are meant for enjoyment, and you're supposed to walk away from a movie, happy. And this is not one of those movies. You walk away kind of very.
It's not. You leave.
But at the same time, it's also kind of like saying, some of these other movies. Look, Schindler's List is pretty brutal too. But that's a pretty necessary movie, or or something like Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a. What
the hell happened while I was gone? Happened to the Schindler's List.
It always comes back to Schindler's List, man. Don't you know that? But there he is.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he's alive. I got worried for a second. I was going to ask you guys after the show if you knew where Ty was, because I sent you a text message and it went like straight to text message. I tried calling him and his phone was off, and I thought.
Well, he made the thumbnail, so I told Ty.
I was very concerned for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
the Devil movie was wild. Yeah, I liked it. I think M. Night Shyamalan produced it. He didn't direct it, but it was Set in Philly, by the way.
Oh, Devil, yeah, Devil was something else. That was something else.
Yeah.
Speaking of murders, though, I did want to bring up though. There's a phenomenal. Oh God, my phone just decided to fall out.
Speaking of murders.
There's a phenomenal show out.
Oh, so go ahead.
Right. Speaking of murders, there's somebody in my basement. No, but no, there's a great show. There's a great show on Hulu right now called Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Funny thing is,
bro, it's on episode 9 now.
Yeah. Next week is the last episode.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so good. It's so amazing. Good. It's the best show on TV right now. See, so what do you do if you're already in the elevator and an older woman gets in?
Tyler, what if she looks like that?
Get out? Do you just get out?
Like if it's her, you don't mind, but if it's her, it's like no, you know.
Could you imagine like some old lady gets in and Ty's just like, I gotta get out of here. Give me.
I'll take the next one.
Let's see.
But yeah. Oh, speaking of,
only good thing to make me see Tom Holland's not just fun. Oh, the devil all the time. Yeah. Yes, that was definitely true. That was a mature role for that kid.
Oh my God. It was just like, what the heck?
It was something. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I really did. Or not enjoy it, but I thought it was well made. It was well made and interesting story and all that. Yes, the Selena Gomez mystery show, and let me tell you, it's phenomenal. It is so good. It's the best thing on TV right now.
Oh my God.
Far and away.
Yeah, far and away. I started watching.
As soon as she starts walking in, I act like it's time for me to get up. Then I take the stairs. Oh my God, that's great.
What if no ladies on the staircase too?
Yeah. Sounds like
he jumps out the window.
He's like, nope.
He's like, not today. Not today.
Not the window washers. Can I take this ramp up with you? And like,
yeah, right.
Can I go to level 15?
Midnight Mass. On Netflix, I'm watching the Squid Game. I saw the first episode yesterday or day before.
I got the Squid Game. Squid Game is something else.
When I saw the K drama, I'm like, I'm in.
Watch Only Murders in the Building. The morning show is not as good this season for me. It's just not.
Sure. It's not interesting. I'll talk to you about this after, but I think it has to be her.
Well, yeah. But
Captain America out the elevator, jump through the glass.
Yeah, for real, Winter Soldier style. Or was it Civil War that he did that? I forgot.
It was.
Yeah, it was Winter Soldier when he jumps through the
right when
he lands.
Exactly. Squid Game was pretty wild, but yeah, no, I just thought I'd bring that up. We got our give our TV recommendations. So, what are you thinking of Squid Game?
I only saw the first episode. I liked it so far. I like Korean dramas.
You're the Korean drama guy.
They always have really good pilots. A lot of times shows you got to wait till episode 5 till like you figure out what the hell's going on. But right the first episode, it sets it up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I'm down. Some people are like, oh, they ripped off the Hunger Games. I'm like, shut up. The Hunger Games ripped off Battle Royale, which is Japanese, which ripped off The Running Man, which was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And they're all ripping off Fortnite, okay?
So, but like people were acting like the Hunger Games was like the first thing to ever come up with like the Battle Royale. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Right. Arnold Schwarzenegger did it, and he kicked ass. Move over, Katniss Evergreen or whatever your name is. Here comes Arnold. I'm going to kill you. You put me in the Hunger Games.
Katniss Everdeen.
Austin plus the thing we're doing for DC. I think he's sending you a message publicly.
Yes. I think that means maybe he wants me to talk about it real quick. So let me.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yeah.
I guess that's what I mean. So let me. Oh God. What's up, everybody?
Teddy bear.
How's everybody doing? Let's see here. I know he put it in here somewhere. Ah, there we go. Yes. So coming very soon. I believe the first episode comes this week. We are doing a little collaboration. As you guys know, I'm only stepping down as a team member. I'm still around. But our first main collaboration as me running the other channel and stuff is going to be this. And this was an idea I presented to Ty maybe about a month or so ago, and we talked about it, and we've been working on developing it and things like that. And it's what if we ran DC films and TV. So these first 4 episodes will be what if the Pop Culture Corner did it with Ty, myself, and William, very special guest William from the Sci-Fi Center, giving we're going to give full-on feature presentations, from start to finish, PowerPoints, all that fun stuff, all talking about how we would run the DCEU if we were in charge, from actors to storylines to the interconnectivity to all of it, TV, all of it. So should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, it's something we've been developing for a little bit. And, after these first 4 episodes, it's going to get to spin off, and Ty and I will continue to produce it and switch off as kind of the judges. And we'll invite other YouTubers and kind of make it like this Apprentice type series thing that will premiere on switch off on premiering both of our channels. So here on the Pop Culture Corner and on Little Big City. Ta-da! That's my spiel.
I just want to say that Ty had this idea like months ago, before we were supposed to do it with Justice.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, so I actually had an idea of like how I would do a first Superman movie and how I'd do a first Batman movie. Yeah. So maybe I should be on there.
Right.
You don't even need PowerPoint. You got Jack right here.
I don't want to go into details as to all the plans that we have and stuff, but we definitely.
Jack is doing his own thing where he's going to tell you how he would do the DCU. I'll do it for you.
Right. But I mean, my idea came from obviously when What If, started, and I've always had like an elaborate plan, like not just how I would do Superman and Batman. I have a plan of like a 10-year. I will sit you down for the next 35 minutes. I will pull out comics. I will pull out pictures.
Quality over quantity.
I will. Hey, you're gonna get both, okay? And so it's gonna have a lot of girth, Jack. It's gonna have a lot of girth, and it's gonna be big.
Time frame, like when we lose Caden. Oh, there we go. Oh, Tyler Roberts. Oh, there we go.
What? Right? Yeah. So
change the name. There we go.
Right. So my idea kind of came with the what if thing, and so that's where I was like, oh well.
What if? A time frame, like when you guys might do this month, 2 months.
Right. I think this is gonna. I'm sorry. What was the question? I was
frame.
Time frame. First episode's gonna premiere this week.
Oh shoot!
First episode's gonna premiere.
When?
It's gonna be before fandom. We don't want to give a date yet because we still have to coordinate. And then
an hour before that, you'll see my no.
Right, exactly on the show, right? But no, look, Jack, if you want to do it too, obviously we'd love to have you in there and stuff. And
yes, Jack.
Yes, Jack. I mean, look, the idea was I kind of envisioned it like once it turns into a series, literally like Apprentice. In a way, you'll exactly. You're fired. Your presentation is
you put on bad when you're doing it. Like this is a terrible idea.
And, yeah. But I figure we'll have different YouTubers, so we'll get different ones to compete that week. So they'll present against each other and all that. And yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it.
That sounds kind of cool.
Can spin off into
you're doing DC fandom with us this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go past 6 o'clock because I have to leave around 5:30. But then whatever. And of course, that's when they show the good stuff. That's when they're gonna restore the Snyderverse.
Right. I don't even know what time it starts. So.
I don't know either. Probably gonna start early in the morning, and Austin's gonna be like half asleep. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna order wings and everything.
I'm gonna order wings.
No, I'm gonna get all the stupid comic book stuff. Like this is the comic book that's coming out in 6 weeks. And this is a picture of it, and they're like, where are the trailers? And the trailers are going to come when Jack, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
For fandom.
11, 12, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when last year it happened. That was pretty cool. Hallelujah. I kind of miss watching that trailer. I used to watch that trailer like every day, that first one for the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, it's not around anymore, is it? Huh?
No, that's why I had to Jack Sparrow it from YouTube because it got taken down before, and then they put it back up, and I immediately Jack Sparrowed it. Some YouTubers still have it up because it hasn't been found yet.
Right.
Oh, it's 4 hours long. Okay, perfect. So it'll be like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. It's a good idea, 4 hours. But speaking of which, yesterday was a National Coming Out Day, and everyone got scared because they said Superman is gay or bisexual. Of course, they're talking about Jon Kent, which is Clark Kent's son. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, my God, they made Clark Kent gay. And it's like, no, they didn't. But
it was
look, version of the character, I'll be honest with you.
It's gonna be like I don't know. First of all, the media did represent it a little weird. They didn't. It's Jonathan Kent. It's the son of Superman. Superman is currently off-world with the Authority right now. So Superman is also like, it's not that like this character is replacing Superman either.
Yeah.
Superman's still very much around and things like that. He's just not on Earth. Simple as that. And so I don't know. Yesterday, like I said, it was National Coming Out Day, and we talked a little bit about it on Lean On Me. I talked a little bit about it on I went on Point Extra Lounge last night and talked about it.
So check out those Lean On Me. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Look, I'm by. It's a really interesting thing. For me, I think it's great that one of the most powerful DC characters is representative of that. He's still one of the most powerful DC characters. He's still up there. So either way, and that just kind of that symbol Superman and all that can now be representative of the LGBTQ community and all of that. And so I see a lot of good in that. And I think that's a great thing. I'll even go as far as to say is like, I've never cared about the character of Superman. I've talked about that a lot. I don't really care. I just don't really care about it. I think he's a Boy Scout, not really interesting until I saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, Man of Steel. I enjoyed, how Zack represented that character. It got me interested into reading more comics that were like those versions that he put on screen. And I'll be honest with this too. It kind of makes me more interested. It just gives me another reason to get interested into the character. I've never felt a connection to Superman or any of those. I'll
just say, if they really wanted to, I guess, show representation, I was surprised. Why not just maybe not make the main Clark Kent gay, but why not just do it with Superman? Let's say like.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Oh, I think it's no, but I'm saying like, do you feel like this is their way of feeling they've done something without actually doing something?
Look, like, that's the thing. There's never going to be. It doesn't matter what they do, as long as the character already exists and they do something like this. It's always going to. People are always going to feel like and look at it like it's a PR stunt, not with the right intentions. I understand that. I do, and there's a whole other conversation to be had about how DC Comics treats their legacy characters. Rhea, what's up, Rhea? What's up, Prakash? What's up, Kira? All my friends are here. I love you guys. So good to see you. You guys are the
best.
I'm
saying not the whole character. Let's say they did a version like Earth 1 trillion. In this version, we're gonna do Clark Kent. And this version, he's gay.
But there's no need. No, there's no need. You have to understand.
I feel like this is sort of them like
here's how
having it both ways without like ruffling too many feathers.
But here's how it's being looked at, right? Look, Clark Kent has been around for 60, 70 plus years, 80 years. Like he is an established. It would be so out of character for them to just come out.
But I feel like this is DC sort of like ruffling feathers without actually like they're almost kind of scared, like, oh, it's his son. Yeah, he's the one. Don't worry, not Clark. Like, kind of.
Well, no, but look, and there are other characters. Look, Tim Drake just recently came out as bisexual. You have Batwoman that's lesbian, and look, there is just I do understand what everybody's saying, and we had, like I said, we had this conversation. We had a great conversation with Enosh about it last night, and it was
I'm okay with it, by the way. I'm just saying I feel like. They really want to go all the way. Like, let's do an Elseworld story where Clark Kent is gay.
But we also talked about is it necessarily a like? At the same time, comics are not selling off the shelves like they used to. Okay, is it necessarily a bad thing that they do stunts like this to boost sales and stuff?
Probably
I don't know.
No,
I don't think so. As long as it has the right intentions.
There was homosexuality going into the 80s, and back then it was risque.
And also too, I look.
And DC, by the way, did that first before Marvel. I think that was in the 80s, didn't it? It might have been Vertigo, but like they had gay characters, and people were like,
I have no idea. I mean, look, I think too. There's a couple things to look at. You want to look at the writer, and you want to look at, just how does it intent and feel in the story. I think Tom Taylor is a great writer.
You can say the same thing about straight relationships. Sometimes they just have to give you like a female love interest,
right?
It's like sometimes I don't care about this right now. Can we just get with the You can say
Jon
the same.
Kent, as long as it adds for John, then it's okay. But the thing with Tim Drake was it was only a PR stunt. It didn't add anything to the comic. Yeah, and that's the thing. Tim Drake has been around a lot longer than Jonathan Kent. He's kind of like he's more of an established character and things like that. So I can understand that. I do. I get that. Jonathan Kent. I know there were some people kind of talking about that.
In the show? Lois and Clark, is one of them Jon Kent, or am I making that up?
Yeah, but it's a different version. The show isn't adapting the comic. And so. But no, this Jon Kent, as far as I know, and I haven't read the character, I'm going to learn about the character and read about it. But as far as I know, up until literally this year, he's been portrayed as a 10 to 13-year-old kid in the comics and stuff. This is the first time that he's being portrayed in that age where it's appropriate to look at these times. I mean, it would be kind of weird if they would have done this when he was 13. Instead this is about the right time.
You mean when people are actually having like their hormones raging? Yes, that'd be weird.
Well.
Perfect more of that.
But not like that. So, I think as long as it adds to the character, I think, and the intent is good, I think it's a great thing. Like I said, I think there's a lot of
the character in the same way, like being straight. Like, oh, Clark Kent is straight. I'm like, yeah, and like it doesn't necessarily need to add to the character. It's just okay. This character is bisexual. Okay, that's what I mean. Mm-hmm. Like it almost feels like sometimes the detractors like, well, what does it add to the story? I'm like, I don't think it needs to add to the story. He's bisexual. Just you don't say like, what does Batman being straight add to the story? Like, not really. Like, well, I guess him and Catwoman and Poison Ivy and Batman has as many STDs.
Well, yeah, and look, I mean, it's it's true that
I want to see that.
There's not a lot of
characters. I want to see that. How perfect would it be if Superman's son and Batman's son?
Well, no, they didn't get that, but they've teamed up before, is what they're saying in the comics. Damian is, I'm pretty sure.
I know, but I'm saying I'm shipping two already.
No, but look, like I said, I think
he's dressed like Superman. He's dressed like Batman. They have a fleeting glance. I'm just saying.
Dear God. No,
Ra's al Ghul's all mad, like, no, you're supposed to marry a woman.
See, that's how you know when the intention is not, there
come on,
for the right reasons.
I want to see that now.
No, absolutely not.
I can have some fun with this. Speaking of having fun with this, I want to transition.
I will say, I actually have one more thing on this topic too, because. Famous Superman, Dean Cain, speaker for all things comics and Superman, Dean Cain came out on Fox and Friends, our favorite show, my favorite show at least, to fall asleep to. But Dean Cain went on last night, and of course, he's very upset. He was very upset. He was very hurt about this whole Superman thing, and they just did it for shock value and blah blah blah, and if they would have done it 20 years ago and all this stuff. I don't know. I think it's funny that every time something happens in comics, that Dean Cain comes out and just kind of acts like he's the knower and the all-seer of everything comics, like everything else. The dude just complains.
I never watched that show even when it was on.
He always complains. He complained when they changed.
Doesn't look like Superman. He's only 5. He's my height. He's 5'10".
Yeah.
So like,
he complained when they changed Superman's slogan to it used to be, was it Peace, Justice, and the American Way? Now it's something
See,
else.
I still think they should keep the American way, but I have my reasoning. Now, if you hear my idea for a script, the whole American way becomes a part of the story because the whole story is about politics in America and the military-industrial complex. And Lex Luthor represents the new American way, which is imperialism. And then Clark Kent represents the old America, the idea that you can be an immigrant. Oh, it's a great script. But yeah, I'm ready to transition into this because this is a good segue into what was supposed to be the A story for today until Scream came out. So you ready?
Yep.
Well, when Caden filmed the show, I said, Caden, you and I will talk about Scream because the topic I really want to talk about, I want Austin to be here because Austin is a member of the LGBTQ community. Because you told me last week, did you see the Dave Chappelle special? I said no.
Oh yeah, yes.
Weekend, and I'm even shocked. You know me, I'm against cancel culture, but even I was kind of surprised by some of the things he said.
Really?
Not maybe I disagree with them, but like I was surprised he said them. But at the same time, I still kind of chuckled. I still kind of laughed, and in the same way that when Richard Jenny made fun of brown people like Middle Easterners, you hairy bastards, I would laugh. I'm like, yes, we are hairy. It's kind of funny. But basically, there's been a lot of backlash. He basically, first of all, there are some things I think we have to clarify were jokes. Like he talks about how he beat up a lesbian because he thought she was a man. I knew off the bat that was a joke. He didn't actually get into it. If that actually happened, it'd be all over the news.
Right.
But he basically talks about some of the experience he's had because he made jokes in his previous specials about the trans community. But then he said, there's this thing called TERF, trans exclusive radical feminists. These are feminists who don't necessarily see trans women the same as biological women. And he says no, gender is a fact. And you can kind of hear the audience go, ooh. But
I think they applauded him, actually.
They might have applauded him. But how do I put this? The trans community, he said one thing that was interesting. Has a lot of support.
And it's not that, look, guys, I want to say something.
Yes.
Every time something
we're going to
like
hear from the B.
Yeah, here we go. Everything happens, something like this happens. One or two or three celebrities come out upset, and it seems like they're speaking for the entire community. I mean, look, there are two arguments there are two arguments to sides on the trans side of things. You do have the creator of Dear White People for Netflix, very upset. She's protesting Netflix. She's not working with the network. She thinks it was harmful, all of this stuff. Meanwhile, the family of a trans activist that has since passed away and was good friends with Dave Chappelle, is speaking out in his favor and saying, look, again, this all goes back to the same thing we were just talking about a second ago, and that was, for me, intention. It's all about intention. I don't care what anybody says about anything if I know their intention, because a lot of people will say things in just ignorance without having ill will or intentions of hurting people or being mean or whatever or anything like that or controversial. But at the same time, then there are people that want to hurt people. I don't look. Dave Chappelle's been around for a long freaking time. If you aren't a fan of his comedy by now, he's not going to change. You probably just shouldn't watch it. I'm not saying that what he said wasn't offensive. Yeah, it was offensive. Some of the things he said. Yeah. And there's our friend Brian, Master of None, we talked to a lot. He says something interesting. I don't know if I fully agree with it, but I do agree with, to a certain extent, and in certain situations, comedy is supposed to be offensive. It's supposed to start honest and raw conversations. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable because it gets you to think about and talk about things in a different light that you wouldn't normally look at things or talk about things before, because it's comedy. Yeah. It loosens you up a bit. It does break down the walls a little bit, even though it makes you uncomfortable. And I think with Dave Chappelle, I think his intentions are good. I think he may say things every now and again that, probably are offensive to some people and all that. but I think you have to look at the intention. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He's not trying to be mean. He's trying to have an honest conversation. He's trying to help people. He's trying to further this as much as he can. He makes a lot of comparisons between the LGBT community and the African American community and the progress that's been made and stuff. And I think he's great. And I think people have just.
Can I read you a quote he had? I found this quote when I was researching this. Quote, this is Dave Chappelle's quote. Our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first is that if you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. The second is that to love someone means you agree with everything they do, everything they believe, say, or do. Both are nonsense. You don't have to compromise convictions to be compassionate. And I immediately thought a little bit, one of myself and one of Chris Pratt, and maybe even you to some degree. Three of us are Christians. And immediately people say, oh, that means you hate gay people. I was like, no, I'm pro-gay marriage and all that, But the assumption is,
and to start, just to real quickly cover, look, modern day Christianity and these big pastors that you see and all that stuff have completely misrepresented.
Yeah.
When you read the Bible for yourself and all of that, as without any of the noise of people trying to tell you what this means and what that means or all that, when you read it for yourself, you can understand and all that. So, but yes, because it's an interesting.
But like people would say, like they were going after Chris Pratt because they said his church didn't allow gay marriage or whatever. And I said, well, most churches are kind of like that. They'll welcome you in, but on that issue, they probably will say, okay, or even abortion. By the way, that's Dave Chappelle even said that. Like in one of his specials, like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of abortion. And one person cheered. He's like, shut up, N-word. Like you just yelled at the person back for like cheering. But I'll put it to you this way. This got me thinking. There was an incident a couple of months ago, where, I don't know if I should say this, but I kind of understood someone was accused of being transphobic, and I kind of understood where this person was coming from. It was some mother at a spa, and she was in the women's locker room with a little girl, and there was a trans person in there, pre-op, meaning this trans woman still had the male genitalia. She freaked out, like, because her little girl all of a sudden sees, the little girl doesn't maybe too young to understand, a dick in the ladies' room. She went out, there's video of this, she's screaming at the manager, like, are you going to allow this? And they're like, yeah, I mean, she's trans. Part of me, I don't have any kids, but I understood kind of where the mother was coming from. I could empathize. I'm like, okay, I can get that. Like, if you're a little girl and you're in the locker room and all of a sudden you see a dick and balls. First of all, I don't think people should be naked in the gym room, even with guys. I'm like, dude, put on a pair of towel around your waist and put your underwear on. But anyway, I could kind of understand where she was coming from. Like for a little girl, too young to even know what sexual organs are, to see that, it can be, I don't want to use the word disturbing, but like it can be, it's not something little kids should be exposed to on either side. But like all of a sudden it was like, oh, what a transphobic woman. And I was like, here's the thing. I kind of saw the mother's point of view a little bit. I understood. I also said, well, that person should have the right to go to that locker room. But yeah, if there's a kid around, and all of a sudden it became like either you're transphobic and you support her, or you're pro-trans and you support the trans woman. I said, well, maybe there's a middle ground where you can make a case that trans or straight, maybe that little girl should not be exposed to sexual organs at all, or a little boy in a gym. I can understand that argument. But I all of a sudden it gets categorized like, oh no, that mom was transphobic. And I'm like, no, she was just being a mom. I can see it. I understood. And I don't think it was really about transphobia, at least at that moment. She just said like her little girl, all of a sudden, boom, you're at a spa and you see, Austin's nipple ring. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, getting naked and jarring. Yeah. Oh, look at Benson. This is why Benson's so unhappy. This is why he's so unhappy. I watch his podcast all day. Benson, where the hell have you been all day? You should have seen our British interpretation of Scream. It was really bad.
Oh, God.
Oh, you didn't see me. Kate was doing a British accent. It's like, hello, Sydney. What's your favorite Shakespeare play? But, wow. I can understand that point of view, and maybe that's a point Dave would say. Here's my thing. If Dave does believe what he said, that he believes gender is a fact, I think what you're going to find out is there are a lot of people who are sympathetic to trans people who might kind of agree with that bottom line, that there are differences between a trans woman and a biological woman. and are they really transphobic? And I think that's sort of the button he was kind of one of the buttons he was pushing. A lot of buttons he was kind of pushing because he's like, look, I had a trans friend and blah blah blah, et cetera, but I still believe that a woman is a woman and a trans woman is whatever. Can you still enjoy him as a comedian if he believes that? I guess. I'm not asking you. I'm just saying I think that's sort of the issue here. Like again, I'm not getting
right.
Even if he said horrible things, I'd be like, you know what? That's what he believes. Just don't watch him. But I think he was being earnest when he said that. I don't think it was like a punchline to a joke. He said, look, I'm a TERF. And this is what happened to J.K. Rowling also, because J.K. Rowling said, no, I think there's differences between an actual woman and a trans woman. And moments like that, I kind of back away because I'm like, I'm not a trans person, so I can't tell you what they're feeling or thinking in the same way I can't tell what a gay person is thinking. But can we still enjoy Dave Chappelle's comedy even though he believes that? Like for me, because it's not directed at me, I could say yeah. But like I was reading what some trans activists wrote, and I really kind of empathized with what they were saying. They said they felt like, the whole thing we talked about punching down a little bit. Yeah. Well, Kira, like I would say this, like, is it okay for him to be decent, but he can still make jokes?
I mean,
look, all of other people too.
At the same time, it is. I do think it's a conversation to be had, right?
Yeah.
And as somebody in the LGBT community and stuff, I think. Look, I will say. I'll call you whatever you want. If you want, if you want to be called, a man or a woman or they them, I would completely respect that. I would call you.
That was one of the points he was making too, Ben.
All that. That wasn't what he was saying. He was pointing out that people have supported the trans community without hesitation, but won't support black people in the same way. Yep, that's another big point.
That was another point he was trying to make. I think that was a larger point. Yeah.
But but I think what he was talking about and trying to refer to is that, look, at the end of the day, we have to, if we all of a sudden start saying, okay, well, what was fact is no longer fact, we can play with that.
Yeah.
That does start becoming a dangerous conversation, because then that expands into a lot of other things. That's never really been done before, where all of a sudden we're just like disregarding fact. What's disregarding what's been known as fact for so long, and just kind of saying, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying we should disregard the fact. I think we should be respectful and open to whoever and whoever
exactly.
And however you want to be called or presented. Do you? I support you 100%. I think everybody should live life in a way that makes them happy, that they love who they love, and all of that. And whatever you decide, like I said, I support, and I'll call you whatever you want. But again, I think it becomes a different conversation when you're trying to actually go back, and change something that has been considered biologically fact.
Yeah.
So again, and it's weird to talk about because I'm not trans. I'm not of that community. I would love to speak to somebody in that community.
I remember I wanted you to have someone trans on our show. If you can find.
Yeah, I have a few friends, but I just I don't want to also put them on the spot or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's a conversation. It's a conversation. It's a conversation.
An example where I kind of like, and I have a trans friend, and I was talking to her about this, and she kind of got upset with me. We're talking about transitioning. I'm like, totally fine. But there are stories about like young kids, 11, 12, 13, who want to transition and their parents say no. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of on the side of the parents. In the same way, if the parents are okay with it, I'm like, that's okay. But I also understand because they're young, I can understand parents objecting to them transitioning. And I said,
that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other conversation. But from her perspective, she thought that was transphobic. I'm like, no. In the same way, I would tell a young straight 12-year-old that he should not be having sex at that young age. That's not me being anti-straight. But like, that's just me saying, when you're that young.
Yeah, and look, it's true, Benson. The trans community hasn't had the best of representatives. Sorry, Caitlin. And they do have some really good ones though, and there's a Laverne Cox, I believe. She's a phenomenal actress, and she's really making strides in the acting community for trans people and stuff. And but no, you know, it is sad and unfortunate that there are some people that kind of use
she
that.
is a
Right. I mean, look, I think yeah, she wasn't the best.
Hold on a second.
She doesn't speak for the whole of the trans community.
She's trans, that she's also pro-choice. She might be pro-life. I don't know.
Oh no, she came out and she was a Trump supporter, big Trump.
No. I know, but I'm saying is I think the assumption is being made that because she's trans, therefore she must be pro-choice. She might not be. She might be like, you know, I'm pro-choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's never. I don't know if I've ever read anything, but I'm like, she could be pro-life or anti-abortion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
You never know. But yeah, no. Here's the thing, and this is where here we go. Yeah. This is Caden.
Elliot Page, of course.
I think you say Shella or Shea Man, India Moore, MJ Rodriguez, Elliot. Oh yeah, Elliot Page.
Yep.
I forgot about her. Him. So here's the thing. See what I just did there? I said her at first because I thought of the actress.
Right, and you know what? And what I like about most of these actors,
when you make that accent, like I said her because I immediately thought of.
But it seems like most people understand that conversation right now is very fresh, and that is very new, and it seems most of my friends because sure, have I made that mistake? Yeah, with some of my friends, they understand. They understand that because all of this is a kind of, I mean, look, all of this is just kind of blown up in the last 10 years, you know, or even 5 years.
4 or 5, yeah, that's where it really
right. You know, of this whole, you know, the being able to go from they to them or change your gender and all of that. And so, you know, most people I know are understanding of that, or understanding that's going to take a little bit of time for everyone to kind of adjust. But as long as you're accepting of it, as long as you're cool about it, I think it's fine.
I don't know if I should put that last comment up, Benson. That's a whole other conversation. But my point was, where I wanted to go with this is that Netflix, for the moment, is saying, look, we don't agree with everything he said, but we're not removing his show. And I think that they're doing the right thing. You can disagree with what Dave Chappelle has said and still say, you know what, that's his point of view and whatever. So Netflix at the moment, I don't know how long this will last.
They're not going to take down his special.
I don't think they'll take it down. I hope they don't take it down. I think at some point, even when it comes to cancel culture, for those of you who don't know, I'm very much against cancel culture. Even if it's someone I don't like, even Richard Spencer, I will defend his right to speak, even though he's a white supremacist. I'm like, look, I'd rather a person like this.
Look, no, I do think certain people need to be canceled. Alex Jones,
what I'm saying, what I'm saying, it's not like he's on Netflix. But I'm saying is that
right.
I want people like that to be exposed. Like, if that's what he believes, say it out loud so people know, rather than kind of like the. Right. I'm like, so you know his name, you know what he says. That's what he believes. If you support that, then that's on you. I'm a radical free speech person. Even someone like Richard Spencer would not like me. And that's okay. I love that he doesn't like me. I hope he watches Jivin with Jack and starts cutting his veins. I'm like, good.
Oh God! All right, jeez.
Yeah. Austin's like that poor white supremacist. No, I'm joking. But pure Shaq fact, interesting facts, no controversy. Benson, I understand. I see where you're coming from, but that's not where I want to go. They have been in this corner for a long time. I think they're trying to ruin it, but it's not working because it didn't work last time. I mean, I think it's got like 33% of Rotten Tomatoes or 20, but people are allowed to watch it. And the media narrative I've been seeing, unfortunately, is that the people who like Dave Chappelle now are hardcore right wingers. I'm like, no, they're not.
Ooh, yeah, on. No.
Like Dave Chappelle, who is more pro Black Lives Matter than Black Lives Matter. I mean, that guy is all of a sudden a right winger. No. Can we just say that, yeah, he's mostly on the left, but on this issue, he does maybe, I wouldn't even call him right wing. He just says, this is what I believe. And I think he's a practicing Muslim, isn't he? He's a person of faith, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Muslim. Yeah.
He's a Muslim. So maybe that played a role. And as a Catholic, I'm like, well, I know what my church says about this stuff.
Right, exactly. A lot of religious people are very
Yeah.
Look, again, because I'm not. I don't identify as that. Yeah. Because I don't identify as that. For me, it's a weird conversation to have because I of course want to be understanding and know the heart of those people, and I want to understand them and love them all the same. I mean, it's just, but at the same time, you and Benson do have a little bit of a point that I think some of these parents and stuff, kind of almost force this stuff on their kids. Like they want their kids to be this and all that.
That's another thing. I know they've been talking.
That's a whole,
kids. I don't know how I feel about that. Not because I'm anti-trans. I don't think kids should be exposed to straight stuff. I don't know how you grew up, but when I was a kid growing up, if there was a sex scene in a movie, I was not allowed to watch it. I had to cover my eyes, or my parents, or certain movies because as a kid, my parents didn't want, not because they were like, oh, we don't want our son to be straight, but because they feel like as kids, you should not be exposed to what sexuality is. I didn't know what sex was. I thought sex was people kissing and taking their clothes off. I didn't know what else was going on. But I'm that way with how I'm going to raise my kids. I want them to enjoy their childhood. I don't want them to know if they're gay parents, I'll say, well, those are two daddies who love each other or two mommies who love each other. That's it. I'm not going to tell them like the, biology of it but I think there's a fear that in public schools, at least, that they might teach these kids to kids, and kids may be, but that's like, again, that's a whole other conversation. I don't want to get into that, Benson. That's more of a, go to Insight Radio. They talk to them about that podcast. That's where you talk about that stuff. But Kasuga, are you talking about Richard Spencer? It was a joke. Exactly. But yeah, so from time to time, you can misgender people. It has happened. I have done it by accident. I just did it earlier, like 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, I did it. But then, so like Justin says, people should be allowed to think what they think without being put in a box. My very idea of liberty is that you can believe what you ever want to believe as long as you don't try to influence someone else in a legal sense. So like if I'm talking to Austin and I'm trying to say, Austin, you should become a Catholic, or he's telling me I should leave the church, that's not what I'm talking about influencing. But like if I were to like say, you know what, I should make a law in Las Vegas that bans Protestantism, that's anti-liberty. But if someone, look, there's a lot of people who are very mean about the trans community rather than saying, but they get very, rude about it. I'm trying to avoid certain language, but very rude and caustic. Like there's definitely some hate there.
I mean, like I said, I think you got to look at the intention. Yeah. You had that family, and you had that girl that was trans, that was a big Chappelle fan and big Chappelle supporter, and her family is now currently out speaking in support of him and stuff. I don't know. It's such a it's
our highest viewership right now talking about this. Apparently, these guys don't want to see me talking about Scream. Fine.
They couldn't care less about your Scream. That's how I feel about your Scream. I don't care about Scream.
But like, it is a hot topic. And look, he believes what he believes. He was also making jokes. The one thing I will say, put away his personal beliefs. I think no one is above a joke, punching up or punching down. I think no one should be above a joke. Everyone, can be made fun of, including people who are oppressed, people who are doing well. You can make fun of the rich. You can make fun of the poor. You can make fun of the homeless. I think everything is fair game. If it's not funny, then you can say it's not funny. And I think right now we are in very sensitive times, number one. Number two, I think maybe trans people felt that he was kind of like saying stuff that a lot of right-wingers probably think. And I don't think that's the point, again, he was trying to make. Back to the non-controversial topics. Katsuka, do you not know what Jivin with Jack is supposed to be? Jivin with Jack is supposed to be.
This is the controversial show.
Yeah, this is a show where they were saying Austin showed his nipple ring on Lean on Me. I'm like, no, he did
this one. Yeah. It's right there. Yeah. Well, I guess you got to get like close up to see it. There.
Look at that little thing.
I got to get some new bling. I was saying last night, I got to get some new bling. I want to get like a Flava Flav clock, and then I think. Now I will say, I think at some point with the other channel, maybe you know, I might do like once we get to a certain amount of subscriptions, I'll get the other one pierced live on air.
Live on air.
And that should be fun. But yeah, no,
you're OnlyFans, dude. You're OnlyFans. Justin Hines. No one understands comedy anymore. He blatantly expressed the point of his special in the media, proving his point.
Literally at the start of At the start of his show, he literally was like, "Just so you know, I'm going all out." Like, I was like, all right.
And there's that he's trying to use humor to hit you.
It's true. Yeah.
It's easier for a white man to change his sex. Well, didn't he makes a point about the baby. I did not know this. Actually shot and killed someone in a Walmart.
Yep. But as soon as he talked about
that.
yeah,
exactly. I'm going to localize, not someone I follow or know what to what. There we go. I think he should.
I'm okay with people being the sort of person that they're comfortable with in their own. Austin has a nice beard. Should I tell him to shave it off? Hey, here's the thing. If I shave it off, I look like 12 years old.
I once made a joke that was very politically incorrect about your beard. Do you remember that? I said it off the air. I don't even know if I can say it now.
I don't. I mean, look.
I said when you joined Pop Culture Corner, you look like a young Mexican man.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember what I said after that?
Which is fine. I
said now you look like someone who smuggles them. It was a joke.
Oh God.
I don't know if you remember that. I was like,
right. I mean,
Kasuka said she has a brother who's in the Navy. He's a seaman, and there's always been jokes about men in the Navy, you know, being gay or whatever, you know. And I think, okay, that's fine, but I can also understand someone who's, let's say you're gay in America in 2021, but you have family that's not cool with it. This is still happening. We have a Pakistani community, and young men and women, mostly men, are coming out gay, some, and it is not going well. It is not like dealing with American parents. You're having parents who come from a culture where that type of thing is not like even accepted. So they might hear a joke like that. It might hurt them. Or on the other hand, they can laugh at themselves. And I think, look, go back to the 90s. Watch Will and Grace. Will and Grace kind of played up gay stereotypes. The Birdcage, great movie, played up the stereotypes.
Right.
And kind of pointing the mirror at you and saying, are you really afraid of this? Are you really afraid of Robin Williams and
Nathan Lane, the brilliant Nathan Lane.
Who does
brilliant
in the book. But the idea was like, are you really afraid of this? Are you really afraid of Will and Jack from Will and Grace? Just Jack, which I do all the time. Right. Are you really afraid of that? Like, are you thinking like watching that's going to make you, and then people are like, I think people are cognitively watching the shows are like, yeah, I guess, whatever. Maybe I'm not as, fine, whatever. Like it starts like that. No, I'm not joking. Like
I got Benson to come to my defense. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, look at Kasuka.
Yeah, you know what, Kasuka? I've asked you so many times to tell us your jigs. I hear Kasuka. It reminds me of Asuka. Sorry, I think it's a girl's name. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But yes, I am assuming your gender. And are you remember, I can play the race card. I always have that like back up there. I'm like, I can play the race card. Aha. Right next to my backseat car.
Vincent said, my God.
I can't drop this mic. This is Ty's mic. You want to start yelling at me in the comment section.
Careful. That's a mic. No.
But yeah, so I think this is his last day. I think his deal with Netflix is over for now. I think maybe going to take some time off, which he's done before. Oh my God, Justin. Okay, it's gender neutral, whatever. I've never met a man named Asuka. I've seen girls named Asuka. In Grand Theft Auto 3, there's an Asuka, or Asuka, as they call them. But by the way, they removed the original Grand Theft Auto trilogy from Xbox and PlayStation stores. You could buy the trilogy for like $20. The old ones, the PS2, Xbox One era games, remember? They completely removed them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're getting ready for that remaster. And Benson said to me to show.
What about us who still like those older? I'm glad I already bought it. If they're removed from the library, I'm going to be mad because I have to re-download them. But I still have them on the PS2. But yeah, so Tyler's going to head out and eat dinner. Just as I can watch a lot of anime.
Nice. And Benson, the photo you sent me a couple of days ago, I just was looking for it.
Photos are you sending your fans?
Well, no, he sent me like all the toys, all the toys and stuff.
What kind of toys are we talking about here?
But show the photo. Oh, I think I know which one. I think he's talking about a Britney Spears photo he sent me.
Yeah, I don't know. We're talking about that. No, we
just realized I don't.
Don't show us an attractive woman. No, please. Yeah, so but I do think he'll take some time off.
Yeah, he's probably gonna take. Yeah, he's probably gonna take another 12 years off. Take another 12 years, and then he'll be back, and you know.
Yeah, he'll be back. No, they should stay in your library like PT. Okay, good. Because like I was gonna say, I did pay for them. They're not all on my PlayStation 4, but I don't want to lose them, so that's cool. But yeah, no, Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy remastered. I am very excited about that. I'm excited for Halloween. I'm excited for Scream. Oh, one last thing, and then we'll end the show. I got to talk about this because this guy is my childhood hero. He's still my hero. William effing Shatner is going to space tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I know about that.
At age 90 years old, Captain Kirk, he will be the first Star Trek cast member to ever go into space. I got to say, oh, Captain, my Captain. They gave him a command red shirt like he wears in they gave him the command gold. They gave him like a gold colored jumpsuit, but he'll be going to space tomorrow. And I gotta say, I've always loved William Shatner. I don't give a crap what George Takei says about him. This guy was so freaking cool as Captain Kirk. It is not easy to play that type of role where you're both good looking and you're in charge. Like, watch any show where you have like young hot men trying to be like, yeah, I'm in charge. They start yelling to make you feel like they're in charge. Acting, whether it was him, whether it was Picard, the guy who played Cisco, he was the first black captain in Star Trek, Avery Brooks. It is not hard to play the guy in charge. Yeah. Is that a picture of me? Oh, okay. Is that Coneheads?
I don't know what that is.
Is that Benson?
No, he said
that's my picture now because I have a way.
JivinWithJack.
I have a way. I have ideas of what everyone looks like. Imagine Kirk die. I know it'd be horrible, but like so poetic too. Could you imagine?
I would laugh.
You would laugh, yeah, because you're laugh.
What you get? You're 90-something years old. You're going to space. What do you think you are, invincible?
Dude, he's perfectly healthy. He's directing movies. He's directing. This guy moves around so well. I'm fine with it. I love the guy. The guy epitomized cool. He's still freaking cool. Like
you're still directing movies, but I'm pretty sure if the wind blew the wrong way, he'd turn to dust.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like Patrick Stewart's 10 years younger than him, but Patrick looks old. Like you watch Star Trek Picard, you can tell he looks old. This guy's just aged really well. I mean, I'm sure they have to give you fitness tests before they send you into space. You probably passed them. I know John Glenn went in his 80s, so I think it's cool. And just in time, they have a new season of Star Trek Discovery coming out. So here we go. By the way, I found it hilarious that the angry plan from Harley Quinn on HBO Max is the same guy who plays Shaman Dude in GTI 5. Oh, really? The home? That guy? That's him. Home. Yeah, Bill Shatner's a legend. You know, GTA 5. Yeah, that remaster, whenever the hell that's going to come out. Why the hell do we have to wait for a remaster? And the graphics in the trailer look exactly like the PS4 version or the Xbox One version. The graphics look exactly the freaking same.
I'm telling you, man, it's Rockstar.
And I swear to God, if this remaster of the original trilogy is just a really nice version of the old game, I'm like, nope.
Oh no, they better do it like they did those Mafia games. I don't know if you played the Mafia.
Yeah,
they did a Mafia Definitive Edition.
To look at least as good as GTA 4.
They remastered those Mafia games, bro, and I replayed them, and they are gorgeous.
Yeah,
gorgeous. I mean, they literally talked about how they started from scratch. They remade the whole cities, the characters.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it a remake or a remaster? Are they just gonna like kind of polish it up a little bit?
Right. They said L.A. Noire was another great remake that they put out.
But that game was amazing for even its time when it came out.
Dude, I'm obsessed with Al Capone in that era and stuff. I'm a big.
Oh, you should come to Philly, Eastern State Penitentiary. They have a lot of memorabilia there because he stayed there for a year or two.
Oh man, I love it. But yeah,
Yeah.
Anything else we got to cover? Anything else?
Oh yeah, we got plenty. We always have stuff that we got to cover, but like honestly, whatever. No, I think that's pretty much it. But you know what? You already talked about the box office last night, so whatever.
Apparently, there's not even a real box office report. It was just kind of like No Time to Die didn't do as expected, but it didn't do terribly.
Yeah, I think the era of Bond, at least for the time being, seems to be not as hot as it was.
Well, it still made $300 million.
Yeah, sure.
Internationally, and $400 million. So I don't know. It's still. I just think that the domestic box office is never going to be the same.
Yeah, probably. We'll see how Halloween does. Do you think Halloween will beat James Bond this weekend? Because it's also on Peacock. That's the. To be fair, Halloween movies are not big budget. They cost like $20 million to make or whatever.
Right. I mean, it might. Halloween might be. We'll see. I don't know. I
know Halloween fans are really excited to see it. But
I'd love to see that. Love to see Henry Cavill as the next Bond. He would be great. Real quick, was it worth it to see Venom 2 in theaters? No.
I decided not to go see it. I could see it for free because they're not free, but I have to.
I'll say it.
I'm going to see Halloween Kills and this weekend and next weekend, whatever the hell else comes up. But there we go. Henry Cavill will be the next Bond or a black trans person with one leg just to cover. I think it might be a person of color or something like that. I think they're gonna. I think that's the route they're gonna go.
Right. Again, I don't think Idris Elba would do bad. I think he'd kill it. In that role. I really do.
It's arthritis. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm sorry, he just looked a little bit old in Suicide Squad.
Really? Oh man, he could.
That's what he did a little bit. But guys, if you missed Lean on Me, check it out. They talked about the box office last night.
Yep.
You guys talked about Adam Warlock too, right?
We did.
Good. That way I don't have to talk about it. Good. That's. I always mix up that actor with Cameron Monaghan because they both look the same to me. Cameron Monaghan is from Jedi Fallen Order, and he plays the Joker in Gotham. The two actors look almost identical.
Yes.
Halloween Kills, Kira.
And for me, I'm gonna actually say I am very much looking forward to Halloween Kills. Yeah. I'm seeing Halloween Kills tonight, so I'm very excited about that. But I think the next one is actually The Last Duel. I'm so excited for The Last Duel with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Jodie Comer and Adam Driver. Big fan of those types of movies. And Dune. Big fan of Dune.
Spider-Man might be the big one, like big budget film that I just cannot wait to see. Like, there are other movies coming out, but like that one, it's like can't sleep at night thinking about it, kind of, keep you up because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe we're 2 months away, 3 months away, 5 weeks away, 4 weeks away. It's going to be a fun countdown. Yes. Caden put is that your channel right there?
No, I put that.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just going to remind everybody, don't forget, the new channel is starting up on the 23rd. We're already at 30 subscribers, so that's freaking awesome. Thank you guys so much, but make sure and go check it out. Subscribe, get those notifications on because we are going to have a video up this week as far as the announcements and just kind of what shows are coming and things like that. I'm super excited about it. There's going to be a lot of cool things going on over there and a lot of cool conversations and stuff like that. And you'll see, I'm sure Jack and Tyler over there every now and again as well too. And I'll be over here. So it's going to be fun. And of course, Garrett, thanks so much for being here and for watching and for engaging with us. We love talking to you. So
it was kind of scary. I think Ty forgot to tweet the show, so there was no one watching when we started.
There was, and then I actually noticed halfway through the show, he tweeted it, and it went to
jump. Guys, seriously, if your issue with notifications, whatever, Lean on Me is every night or Monday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. JivinWithJack 4:30 Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays, never fail. And if I'm not here, either Caden or Austin or Ty will do the show. This show will always be at the same time.
Exactly. And same with Lean on Me. It will always continue, whether with me or with Paul or somebody. But
exactly. In fact, the
show goes on.
August 28th. You're filling in.
I'll be filling in for you on the 28th. That's right. But oh man, Benson, if I had an endless amount of money, I would be flying to Europe to see Dune on the biggest IMAX screen. Or the biggest. I would fly anywhere. I would fly to the biggest IMAX.
To Afghanistan. Fly to Afghanistan. to see the biggest.
The biggest IMAX screen is in Afghanistan?
I don't know. No, but I'm saying, you said you could fly anywhere. Would you go to Afghanistan?
Well, I highly doubt that the biggest IMAX screen is just
if it were there
in the middle of Afghanistan. Could you imagine?
They stole it.
Yeah, that's where actually they show their training videos now.
They show you Doom, but they censor out all the good stuff.
Right, yeah. All you see is the part where the bad guys take over the good guys. But no, I can't wait for Dune, and thank you, Benson. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's all for me.
And I think there's only one thing to say.
Dear God.
We do it for you, and we do it for the culture.
Kevin, get in here!